Hello everyone, today I'm going to show you a DIY that I tested. It's really cute and it turned out really great, so enjoy. Let me show you the materials that I used. Mason jars, primer to prime the jars, a sealant to seal the final product, foam brushes, and acrylic paint. Everything I use will be listed in the description below. Here I've got my jar. I'm going to open it and put the lid aside. Then I'm going to take my scotch tape and I'm just going to cover the top of the jar with this tape to protect it from the primer and from the paint. That way when the product is finished, we can put the lid back onto the jar. Once you're done protecting the top part of the jars, the next thing that you'll do is prime it. So take the primer and spray a few coats onto the jar. Make sure you protect your cement with newspaper. This is the one tip that I forgot to do. So don't make the same mistake that I did, guys, because it did stain my cement. So once you're all done, make sure you let it air dry for at least an hour. This will get rid of the fumes. It's always good to protect your workspace, so I'm just going to take newspaper here and protect my workspace because I'm going to be using paint and it can get a little messy. Once the jars are done drying, the next thing you'll do is paint them. I'm going to paint my first layer here and I'm going to paint all over the jar. After the first layer of paint, I let it air dry for about 15 to 30 minutes and then added a second layer. Once your second layer is completely dry, then you can move on to the next step, which is drawing. You can use a stencil to draw. For my project, I just freehanded, and like I mentioned at the beginning of my video, I was inspired by a Pinterest photo, and so I want to recreate almost the same exact thing. I guess you could say I want to make a replica of it. So in my case, I am drawing kawaii emojis onto these jars. As you can see here, I'm done drawing, so the next thing I'm going to do is take some paint and I'm going to place that on my plate because that's what I will be using to outline the drawing with. After I finished painting the faces on all the jars, I just let it sit and air dry completely. And the only way to know that it is completely dry is if you touch it and it is smooth and not tacky. So finally, the last thing I'm going to do once all the paint is dry is I'm going to take my sealant and I'm going to spray a light coat over the jar to seal everything in place. the sealant is completely dry, don't forget to take off the scotch tape on top and then put the lids back on. Overall, I thought this DIY was very successful and I would do it again. And if you thought they were cute, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Thanks for watching, everyone.